Since that peak right there, I'm learning to be more patient on my entries, and that's been a major difference. Patience on my entries and cutting losses is really the key to trading, in my opinion. You got to cut your losses and let your winners run if you're going to make a living in this market. And that's my goal is, make a good living in here and make us both some money.
And it's incredible to see that, you've been trading for so long, but those mistakes, like the psychological mistakes are there, right? Welcome everybody to another funded trader of Trade the Pool. Today Mark is with me, a new and old funded trader. He's been with us for a while. Mark already got funded a few times, so we're going to talk about that. And he's trading for a long time. Hey Mark, thanks for coming.
You're welcome. Glad to be here, really.
It's always amazing to have you because, just the fact to show the guys at home that anyone can do that, and especially when it comes to you with so much experience and knowledge that you gather throughout the year, and we will talk about that in a second. But just the fact that you're becoming a funded trader every single time, getting your place in Trade the Pool, it's incredible to see. So Mark, let's start from the beginning. How long you been trading for?
Since 1987.
87. Wow, that's I'm sure the guys that listening, most of them never saw this here, right? They're born in the 2000 or so. How is it was like, trading back in the day?
The last week or so has reminded me of those days when you could just buy the open and ride it. It happened frequently. And then the crash came, 87. There was a stock market crash, pretty good one. And but I was on the right side of it. I went short just right at when it crashed, and
Wow.
It was a big move, about 3 days worth. But that was an incredible experience right there.
And how was, I've been trading from 2008, and I'm thinking of how it was before when I started. When right now, 2025, when you're thinking of the differences between when you started to trade and now, how big it is. Like the industry completely changed, right?
Oh, yes. And, charts and indicators, all the things that I use has really evolved over the years for sure. My problem has been breaking my own trading rules, but yeah, there's a lot of technical stuff that's come along that's very helpful in the trading industry. The internet wasn't even happening in 87. So it was all, I did have charts, but wasn't quite the same. I didn't have all the indicators I use nowadays, like ATR stops and second standard deviation, VWAP. Everything's on my chart. Previous day's close, bullish. There's a bullish indicator called the bull SATI or the bear SATI. Depends on what side of the previous close you're headed. But there's a lot of indicators that I use. And also I look at candlesticks and their tails and things like that can give you a clue which way we're headed next. But, I look for what I call breakouts, where the market is headed up the second standard deviation curve, one way or the other. It could be down, it could be up, but today it's definitely down. The open was the high of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have so many questions to ask you about back in the days and the differences that we have today. Let's say, what type of strategies did you use before, like 30, 40 years ago? What was it that you executed?
I used options a lot, but I would trade the S&P, back when I first started trading the S&P, 1 point was $500. Now it's
Wow.
250.
Yeah.
So it was it was a little different, but I used my phone basically. I had a phone that I called my broker and put in a trade. And I was a pilot. I've been a pilot my adult life, flying charter around Los Angeles area in business jets. And I was a Vietnam helicopter pilot. But yeah, it was totally different back then. I'd put in an order and put in a stop and hope it went in my direction that day.
How long did it take it to? How long did it take it to execute? Right from the moment you placed the order.
Oh, they were fast.
Oh,
they were pretty fast. Yeah, as soon as I got through, and they had to signal the floor back then. All the trades were executed on the floor. So yeah, it was totally different, but it was relatively fast. I mean, not like today, where it's basically instant. But yeah, back in the day, it would take, I don't know, maybe 15 seconds from the time you got that broker on the line. So
that's a lot. Yeah, comparing to today. And how did you move from, you had to adapt, right? We're always talking about that the traders got to adapt to the changes of the market or the phases, the cycles in the market. How did you do that? Because you had to adapt to all new different technology.
Well,
right?
I've taken a lot of training courses, like with Prosper. Are you familiar with Prosper Trading?
No.
It's a Chicago firm,
Okay.
and they have the guy that started it was a market maker on the floor, options, and so I learned a lot about options and a lot about trading. I didn't really start stock trading till about 3 years ago.
Wow.
I'd always been trading commodities and the S&P, but strictly stocks, it is a little different, the volatility in an individual stock, not having a news feed like today, you never know when some news is going to whack you one way or the other.
Wow, that's insane. And so you trade in stocks for the last 3 years. How long you been with us, Trade the Pool?
Gosh, I don't know. It seems like
at least a
year and a half,
something like
maybe
that.
more. I don't remember without looking back at it.
I think a year and a half or so when we first talked. And now you trade in the 50K max account, which is $50,000 of buying power. And the max give you flexibility, more flexibility on the funded account.
Yeah, that helped me for sure.
And I'm going to share my screen and show the guys at home how it looks like. And from there, we'll take it. Basically, every trader gets his own dashboard, and you can just see the progress and follow your stats in order to understand where are you within the parameters. Alrighty, so let's have a look at that. So the 50K max, you need to reach a 6%. That's it. That's what you need to reach in order to become a funded trader. And you have a max loss, a daily pause. For those of you not familiar with prop firms and the way it works, you have a target, a max loss, some consistency rules. And once you stay within those parameters, you basically get to the funded phase where we split the profit. So you reach that. We will talk about your chart in a second here. 74% success rate, which is super high and very impressive. Risk reward ratio is super low, negative, but of course, when you have a high success rate, a negative risk reward could be okay for that. And you have another stats here, the 1.36 on the profit factor and holding time 24 minutes. Let's go over the trades before jumping into the chart. First of all, you only trade in SMCI, right? Tell us a little bit about that. Why?
It's always got a good range during the day, and it has good momentum at times in whichever direction it's headed. So it's a good stock to trade for me.
Is that something that in most cases you will search for or focus on, like just trading one or two assets, one or two symbols?
Yes, it's something that I'll look at if there's I look at daily charts too, and I use 3-minute, 5-minute, 15-minute charts mostly when I'm trading. And so, yeah, I do check in with another service that I follow to see what they're saying is gonna, what stocks are hot that day. Also, I use Schwab, which has indicators of what's hot and what's cold that day, what direction many stocks are headed.
That's interesting. So, because there are many ways to trade, right? Especially when it comes to stocks, so many opportunities. So one will be, some guys will, like you, will focus their full potential or the full trading strategy on one ticker like Tesla or Apple, Amazon, Google, whatever it is, or SMCI, for example, as you mentioned. And some others will go to the stocks in play, those that are popping up, gapping up or down, or the penny stocks that they're pumping down. So, and I'm with you on this one. Focusing on trading on one or two symbols in that case, it's amazing, because when you do so, you actually learning the nuances of the stock, right? The momentum, the way the price action reacts to different key area. So in that case, that's super powerful, just to focus on a few tickers.
Well, when I'm trading SMCI, I also have the NASDAQ chart up, because they're usually
correlated,
following each other one way or the other. Yeah. But not always, that's for sure.
The news. Let's talk a little bit about your chart here, because it's a bit, it's choppy. You had a nice run to the upside, almost reached that target of the 53K mark, and then dropped all the way down, basically to break even a little bit below that, and then again found your rhythm. What happened in this case?
What happened there is me breaking my trading rules and instead of cutting my losses, holding on to a position that was going south. But since that peak right there, I'm learning to be more patient on my entries, and that's been a major difference. Patience on my entries and cutting losses is really the key to trading, in my opinion. You got to cut your losses and let your winners run if you're going to make a living in this market. And that's my goal, is make a good living in here and make us both some money.
And it's incredible to see that you've been trading for so long, but those mistakes, like the psychological mistakes, are there, right? Alrighty, yeah. So I'm going back, dropping the chart here, and going back to your journey with us at TradeThePool. Can you tell me a little bit about guys that listening maybe right now and thinking of joining? What is the main differences that you see comparing to trading on your own capital with a broker, as you did for many years?
Well, the leverage mainly, and financially, it's been some hard times. I broke my back in 1994, and my finances went down crazily. And but it's been a long road back, and this kind of situation where you do an evaluation and to get into a funded position is really a great thing for me, and I think for anybody. It's just using other people's money gives you a lot more leverage in your trading. You're not quite so you'd be a lot more conservative with your own money. You can't be as aggressive as you can this way. So funded trading is a great tool for me, and your firm offers the lowest. Now I've tried at other firms, only one really, but its prices were much higher than yours for the evaluations. Your firm is really a great deal out there.
All right, and that's great to hear. And I hope it's not just the price, but actually the full ecosystem.
No, there's everything. There's your daily input into the market, and there's plenty of training you can look at, online videos. You can follow live trade live trades with a couple of your guys, and there's a lot there. Yeah, there's a lot to pack.
And that's really good to hear. And we are working on a few more tricks that will come pretty soon. So stay tuned. All righty, amazing. Mark, thanks so much for sharing all the knowledge and experience. And I'm sure we will do another funded interview or payout in the future. And for those of you guys want to check us out, go to tradethepool.com. I'll see you next time. Take care.
My pleasure, Michael. Good day.